Yo, what's going on? I'm going to break down exactly how long it takes to build an elite jacked physique. I'm going to share exactly what I did in the past, the changes I would make, and how long it took me to get to where I'm at now. And I understand what it's like to want it quick. Just drop down 20 pounds in 1 month, get a six pack in 30 days. Sadly, it doesn't really work like that. I mean, maybe it could if you're in that skinny fat stage, maybe more like 2, 3 months. But if you've got a lot of fat to lose, it's gonna take longer. So you just gotta set that realistic time frame. Set yourself up for success. Don't try and do something unsustainable that's just not realistic. That's what I wanted. Unrealistic, quick results. I would do six pack tutorial abs in my bedroom every single night, but it never worked. I was stuck in the skinny fat stage. I was very insecure, not confident. I got bullied and teased a lot. People would like poke at my stomach and be like, "Oh, why is it so squishy?" It would just be like, "Oh, you've got acne, you've got face fat." Just was an average looking guy, and it did not feel great. I did not want to be average. I saw these guys online like Connor Murphy, David Lade, who else? Alex Eubank. I wanted to look like them. I wanted to build this Greek god physique. I wanted to stand out, be one of the most jacked guys in my school or just in any situation so I could have more confidence. So at 16, I decided I'm going to go all in. I'm actually going to try and get on a workout routine, find the time to put in the work. And I was lucky because it was quarantine. So I could dedicate an hour, just in my home gym and try my best. And that's exactly what I did. Now, the biggest mistake I did was just not having a structured routine, not really tracking that much. I did the bench press every day, and it was just a bad split. Like if I went back now, I would definitely try and split things up differently. Follow something like push pull legs. Actually use an app like Strong to track the workouts, instead of just going with the flow, just looking up random tutorials and not having any structure with the workout. Even though I didn't have any structure, somehow I was still able to bench 225. I actually have pretty decent genetics with the bench press. When I started bench pressing, I could already bench 145. So a lot of guys start out with just benching the bar and they get discouraged and they're like, "Oh, I'm so weak. Lifting sucks." Well, yeah, you just got to thug it out. You got to keep going. Because when you see those numbers increase, that's when it gets fun. When I was skinny fat, it was so easy to stay there just because everybody else ate just average diet. I didn't have any friends who were jacked. I didn't have anybody to like ask for help. So I just had to look up everything online. And eventually I found out what it took to have a clean, healthy diet. And the first thing I did was just hitting 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight every single day. I knew I could do that. I didn't really know how to track calories. It seemed a little too advanced. So I just started with the protein goal, and I would have like 3 protein shakes a day. It was kind of crazy, but it did work. And I actually cut down from about 170 or so into the low 160s. And I revealed my abs. I was pretty freaking shredded. And it didn't take that much work. I wasn't doing intense cardio. I was just doing cardio that I enjoy. I wouldn't even call it cardio because I would just do flips on my trampoline a lot. I would go out and swim the beach occasionally here and there, but most of it just came down to just eating that protein and then lifting for an hour and getting strong. And once I saw those changes in 2 months, I never wanted to stop. I wanted to keep going. So that really motivated me to strive for more. And eventually I started a dirty bulk. And this was not the best decision because I put on even more acne and I got put on a little bit, teeny bit too much body fat. But at the same time, I did build some size. So I can't really say it was too far. But if I had to do it again, I wish I did a more clean, like a lean bulk. So I wouldn't have had to put on so much body fat. Then I turned 17 and I actually got a gym membership. I started going, having more of a routine, push pull legs training 6 days a week. But I was doing all this junk following. I was doing like 4 sets. So I was in the gym for like 2 hours. But hey, those days, those were fun, man. I'm not gonna lie. Those days where you didn't have to worry about anything else with the gym. I was working a job at the time, but it was just on the side and I was busy with school. But it was nothing too crazy. I was still in high school. And what I ended up doing was benching 295. So I got even stronger. And I did a cut too. I kind of starved myself low key because I just wanted to be shredded all the time. And I wish I spent that year bulking because guys, when you're in your prime age, when you're young, you can spend so much time just building that foundation. Now, that doesn't mean you can't do it when you're 30 or 40. You absolutely can. And when you start, those newbie gains are quick. So it doesn't really matter when you start. Like, yes, of course, the sooner you start when you're younger, you're going to have a better advantage. But even when you're old, I've got clients who are 49, training 6 days a week, loving it. You don't need to train 6 days a week, but you can put in the work and get amazing results quick. But I was feeling good at 17. I was the strongest kid in my school at the time with the bench press. Legs, not the best. I still trained them hard, but I never really had the best leg genetics. After my senior year of high school, I wanted to go on a trip to Hawaii. So I ended up starving myself and cutting my calories down a little too low. Now I did get shredded. I did reveal my abs, but I lost a little bit too much muscle mass in the process. If I went back, I would have done a way better cut, eating in a moderate deficit and just doing more cardio. But at the time, I just wanted to go aggressive. I just really wanted it, but I sacrificed some muscle, and for me, that wasn't worth it. But then, and this is why I also don't recommend just cutting too hard. When I went to that trip to Hawaii, I gained 20 pounds in a week. That's why it's so key to have a process, have a plan after the diet. A lot of people don't have any plan after the diet. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get really shredded, and then I'm just gonna eat whatever I want." Well, if you do that, you're just gonna end up exactly where you started. The proper thing to do is do a reverse diet. Slowly increase your calories each week, maintaining your weight, gaining only 1 to 2 pounds, monitoring it, holding yourself accountable, not just dropping cardio, dropping the diet, no, continuing that, but slowly making adjustments and transitioning into the lean bulk. But eventually it did do another bulk, and this was again a dirty bulk. I didn't learn from my lesson, did I now? No, 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 no. This time I got even more fat. I bulked my way all the way up to 200 pounds, and it felt good being big, but I hated how I looked. I just had too much chub, love handles. Sure, I was actually getting pretty strong. I managed to hit 325 on bench press at 19 years old. I did use some elbow wraps. I hit 315 actually at 18. But yeah, when you're 200 pounds, you're just like chunky. Like I wasn't shredded at 200 pounds, so it didn't feel great. I couldn't run that well. I couldn't do a lot of stuff. And so it's not really the main goal. The main goal is to get jacked, but have great energy and be physically fit as well. So I had to do a cut again. And this time, I actually cut very well. I dropped 20 pounds in 4 months. So I took my time with it. I did not rush things. I did more cardio, so I was in a moderate deficit so I could eat more and retain more muscle. So that's one thing I really, really liked. This is probably one of the best times I've ever looked. I was still not that shredded. I got down to like 190, 180, but I was feeling good. And then I went on another trip to Europe. This lasted me 2 weeks. And what ended up happening, I did 6 miles every single day because I wanted to eat more food. And I thought, oh, if I just run every day in the morning fasted, I'm going to be burning so many calories. I can eat whatever I want on the trip. And then I'll do some weight training here and there and maintain my size, right? Nope. All that cardio, all that eating, yeah, it kind of killed my gains. I think it was too much stress on my body. I also was adjusting to the time change, so the sleep wasn't perfect each day. The diet was off the walls. I would just eat whatever I want, and it was great. It's important to enjoy yourself when you go on vacation, but you should use some strategy there. You should still make it a goal to hit the 10K steps. You should make it a goal to have a smaller breakfast, not just binge eat, which is what I was doing. And you should make it a goal to have less snacks and actually save your calories later in the day. So when you go out to eat on vacation, you've got the room there, you've got the flexibility there, instead of just eating like a pig the entire day. I always say cheat meals, yes, that works great. Cheat days, not so much. If you want to be shredded and have a six pack, cheat days, they gotta happen once in a while, not every single week. Cheat meals can happen multiple times a week. So after I got back from the vacation, I wasn't that skinny, but I definitely lost some size and I wasn't really happy with my physique. So I had to do another bulk. And I'm glad I did another bulk, but I just wish I didn't lose all my progress on that vacation. A lot of people say, like, oh, just take a deload, bro. Just take a week off, 2 weeks off, you'll be fine. No, no, not if you're natural. Like your gains, they can go so fast. If you just let yourself go, you can lose it quick. That's why I'm so motivated to keep going because I don't want to lose the hard work that I put in. But I did another dirty bulk. I tried to do a lean bulk at first, but I got stuck in a rut. My mental health was just like, I was isolated. I was stuck in community college. I didn't have as many friends, and I just so easy to give in to comfort. And that led me down just a bad path. I was telling myself I was bulking and I was gaining all this muscle, but it was unrealistic. It was not true. I was using that as an excuse. I was using all these cheat meals and saying like, oh yeah, I'm going to get to 200 pounds again because I was listening to influencers like Sam Stolk who said you got to eat big to get big. So the lesson I learned was these dirty bulks, they're terrible. Unless you're a hard gainer and you're a skinny guy, like sure, you can get away with a dirty bulk. But if you're like me and you're naturally skinny fat, do a lean bulk. Take things slow. Eventually, I started personal training this time over the summer. And that really helped me get more of a schedule, get me more locked in. I was more motivated to show up for myself so I could show up for my clients in person in the gym. I don't want to be a personal trainer who's out of shape because there's a lot of personal trainers like that, but you got to practice what you preach. But what really helped me get out of this rut was hiring a coach, signing up for a bodybuilding show, and doing it with a friend as well. What really was holding me back, I was just endless staying up late, endless eating, watching TV, doing video games, but then getting a coach allowed me to say no. I'm not gonna fuck off anymore. I am going all in. And this is the hardest I've ever cut in my entire life. I went all the way from 200 pounds to 170. So I lost 30 pounds in 5 months, got to about 10% body fat, and I was looking good. But I did lose some muscle during this time because I was not sleeping very well. See, my cut was a very, very intense, and I wish I gave myself more time. Instead of 5 months, I wish I gave myself more like 6 months, maybe a bit more, and focusing on a moderate deficit like I did in the past. But I signed up late. I had to just show up, and I didn't want to put things off. I knew I could put my all into it. I did not want to put it off any longer, and I made it happen. I felt insane stepping on stage for the first time. It was fun. All that hard work finally paid off. Like there were so many nights when I just couldn't even walk. I was on that low energy. The brain fog was high. I felt like a zombie. But like after the show, ooh, we were shredded, baby. We were looking good. Will I do a bodybuilding show again? Potentially, but not for a while. Just because when you do that, you're sacrificing everything. You're not gonna have a flexible lifestyle. It's just eat, train, sleep. That's it. And that's not how you want to do it. You want to make the gym part of your life, not take up your entire life. But after the show, I did a reverse diet and I finally did a lean bulk properly, gaining 2 pounds a month, taking it real nice and steady. And I was maintaining my abs, getting back up to around 180, 185 over the months, looking good. For the first time after Christmas, I actually still had abs. In the past, I would, go crazy during the holidays and just ruin my abs just like that. Your bulk does not mean you need to lose your abs. Sure, they can be a little soft, but you don't need to completely get rid of your abs. I would not go past 20% on a bulk. Your testosterone starts to go down. It's not necessary. That's where I'm at right now. Kind of in between 15 to 12-ish% body fat, 184 pounds. And I'm cutting before the holidays because I know I'm going to eat like crazy. I know I'm going to gain like 2 pounds, maybe 5, but I have the right plan and strategy. I'm getting back on track right away and I know what I'm doing. I know how to stick to routine. I have all the tools I could ever need to pull myself into gear and keep the abs. That's why I'm cutting before. That's why I'm gonna do extra cardio so I can actually earn the food, not just enjoy it without working for it. I'll tell you right now, having a cheat meal, it feels a lot better when you burn all these calories when you properly do it. Now, I'm not saying you should only eat cheat meals and do an hour of cardio, something like that, where you're just have this terrible relationship with food. No, not at all. But if you have the time and you want to challenge yourself, go for an extra run, go for an extra bike ride, do something fun, do a little bit of extra cardio, play a game of basketball with your friends. It's gonna feel so much better having a nice cheat meal after. So if you're stuck in that skinny fat stage, just like I was, eating a ton and then restricting yourself, looking in the mirror, hating what you see, and just thinking it's all about your genetics and you were born this way and you can't fix it. No, you can. You just gotta give it more time, but you also gotta switch up your routine if things aren't working. If you're not dropping weight, switch up your diet. If you're not getting stronger, change your training routine. Focus on what you need to do outside of the gym and in the gym, but also have the balance because it's hard. And I know it's not easy, especially if you spend the entire day working hard, long hours. You're going to be exhausted when you come back. But if you truly want it and you truly want to get this Greek god physique jacked, you have to show up for an hour, just 3 to 5 times a week. You make the time for it, you track your workouts, you can get out of this cycle. You have to have a strong motivation of why you want to do it. You got to think about all the benefits, the things that are going to change in your lifestyle. It's not just about the physique. It's about how you show up when you go to work, how you show up in your relationships, how your kids are going to look up to you. If you're this jacked, handsome dude, if you're this stud and your future wife is going to be like, wow, this is the guy I want to fucking raise a family with. You want your future wife to be impressed by how you look. Don't do it just for yourself. Do it for the people around you. And then you can teach these skills and you can help them get in shape too. If you want to help somebody who improve their health, you can do it. You can improve your health because you're only going to get older. Every day you wait to start, the harder it is. If you need more help with this, coming up with a structured routine, fast tracking your progress, getting a tailored program, apply for coaching in the first link in the description. I appreciate the support, guys. If you have more questions, hit me up on Instagram. If you want a free nutrition guide, DM me there. Like, subscribe, peace.